IdealLean's pre-workout for women has arrived fresh on our doorstep from IdealLean. It's got a few interesting ingredients in it, and it is indeed a bit different to your standard male-focused pre-workout. So today, we're gonna be talking about the ingredients in here, the potential effects you might be able to expect from them, the price, and some of the pros and cons so you can decide if it's the right product for you. For now though, we've got two flavors to try out. I got blue raspberry and pineapple mango. So let's see what blue tastes like. So as for the blue raspberry flavor, you are meant to mix 1 scoop and 8 to 10 ounces of water. I think for the average person, they're probably gonna prefer having like a good 14 or so ounces of water, maybe more. In this though, I gotta say it was delicious. It tasted a lot like sherbet. Like it was actually a little bit fizzy and a little bit creamy in addition to the obvious raspberry flavor. So I'm a big fan of it, but it was pretty strong. Pineapple mango, meanwhile, I should first of all say these are not naturally flavored products. The blue raspberry is flavored with sucralose, also called Splenda. Pineapple mango has 2 artificial sweeteners in it, sucralose and acesulfame potassium. So of course, it's delicious. It's also very, very strong. Again, I'd recommend like maybe almost doubling the amount of water you're gonna mix with this. Pineapple mango did indeed taste like a delicious tropical fruit juice, although it is a little bit creamy to the point of tasting almost waxy. I gotta say the first time I tried it, I thought it was great at first. The aftertaste was a little bit like lip balm, but anyway, I'm still happy to drink it. All right, let's jump into these ingredients. Now, the first thing anyone wants to know about a pre-workout, of course, is the caffeine content. Here, you are going to get about 150 milligrams of caffeine. Now, like a 4-ounce cup of coffee is listed by the USDA as having about 90 milligrams of caffeine. Meanwhile, a tall Starbucks coffee is about 235 milligrams. So look, it's right in between those two. It's not crazy high. There are a lot of pre-workouts out there that have like 300, 350 milligrams, like well over double the amount you'll get in this. So I think it's gonna be good news, especially for lighter athletes. And of course, women tend to weigh less than men, and sometimes these like pre-workouts with really strong doses can be a bit overwhelming. And the caffeine is paired with a very interesting ingredient that I think is really underappreciated in pre-workouts, and that is theanine. It's derived from tea. And theanine, when it's combined with caffeine, it's meant to help to reduce the jitteriness and lack of focus that can accompany a big hit of caffeine. So I really like to see the two of those added together. And while I'm talking about the focus, it also has tyrosine, and it's well dosed as well, 750 milligrams. Tyrosine is also linked to improved focus. A lot of studies have it on like sleep-deprived soldiers or people like almost suffering from heat stroke, like where the body's under a lot of duress. And those situations, like that's sort of mimicked in a tough workout, so it can help with focus in those situations as well, potentially anyway. I'm gonna keep going with a couple of pros of these ingredients. They're gonna get into some cons a little bit later on. Other pros, very nutritious. You get a ton of calcium here, 50% of a daily intake, which is cool. A lot of B6, B12, vitamin C, thiamine, and a couple of others as well. And it's also pretty well dosed in beta-alanine. That is a ingredient that's very closely linked to endurance. There was like a really big study published in Amino Acids that found that, yeah, taking about 1.5 grams of beta-alanine, what you'll find here, help to pretty reliably increase sprinting speed by runners. So that's a pretty good bonus that I think a lot of people are going to be happy with, especially when it comes to endurance-based workouts, and especially because you've also got these ingredients for extra focus. So to sum up thus far, these ingredients I think are pretty well dosed in this product. You got your caffeine, the beta-alanine for endurance, you've got your tyrosine and your theanine for focus. There are some ingredients I don't think that are quite as well dosed. For instance, Betaine Anhydrous, that's been linked in some studies to like improved power output in the back squat and the bench press. It just comes from beets normally, this Betaine stuff. But normally those studies have shown like 2.5 grams to have that effect, and this has 1.5 grams in it. On a similar note, Citrulline has been linked to improved like blood flow, circulation, maybe endurance and power as well. It's found in very high amounts in watermelon. And citrulline, most studies have found it to have an effect at like at least 6 grams. There's just 3 grams here. Now, these two ingredients might be effective for people at lower body weights, but nonetheless, I would have liked to see them dosed a little bit more highly. There's also Agmatine Sulfate, 750 milligrams. That could potentially help to improve the effects of stuff like citrulline and some of the other ingredients, but 750 milligrams here. Most studies show it to have an effect at 1.5 grams. Finally, everyone wants to talk about this fatless blend. So look, it weighs 310 milligrams. It has 4 ingredients in it. The first 3, there is a amino acid that's very hard to pronounce. There's also conjugated linoleic acids and green tea extract. These 3 ingredients have been linked in some studies to improve like fat loss and body composition, but all these studies are at much higher amounts than you're gonna find in this product. Like the CLA, for instance, it has some links with improved fat loss. The link is pretty contested, but the studies that have found an effect, it's like at least 3 to 6 grams a day. And here it's just one ingredient in 310 milligrams. And it's the same sort of thing with the other ingredients as well, so I'm not super confident in the fat loss effects. There's also ThermoDiamine here, which is like made from an extract of a certain Chinese berry. There are some rodent studies that have seen some improvements with weight loss, but like we don't really have any decent human studies. So I'm not that confident about the fat loss blend, but still there are plenty of ingredients here that I'm pretty happy with. Now, as far as the price goes, it's like between $35 and $45 on their website for one of these tubs. But a lot of the times it's discounted down to like $25, so it's kind of hard to know what the price should be. But I'm gonna go with like an average of $40, so that comes to about $1.33 per serving. There are 30 servings in a little tub. Now look, that is on the pricier side. Most pre-workouts are between like 80 cents and $1 per serving. Of course, if you get it on sale, that does put it down to like about 85 cents per serving. But if it isn't on sale, yeah, you're looking at about $1.33 per serving. So again, on the pricier side, but then again, it is very, very tasty, and it does have like a wider range of ingredients and also vitamins and minerals than your average pre-workout. So, you know, you might find that worth it. All right, so why should you consider getting IdealLean's pre-workout? Look, I quite like it. I think it's really tasty for one. I'm pretty happy with the caffeine content, and it's especially gonna be useful for a lot of like, you know, women or men on the shorter side for whom like those really high amounts of caffeine you get in a lot of pre-workouts is a bit overwhelming. I really like the ingredients for focus here. I'm a big fan of theanine. I don't think it's used enough in pre-workouts. There's also the tyrosine, which is usually underdosed, but it's pretty well dosed here. So there's stuff for like energy, there's stuff for focus, and there's stuff for endurance, like Beta-Alanine. Very, very happy with all of those ingredients. I also wanted to mention that it is pretty nutritious. It's got a ton of vitamins and minerals in here as well, especially the calcium, 50% of the recommended daily intake. That's a very nice bonus I was pretty happy to see. There are a few potential downsides of this product. It is on the pricey side. It's not crazy expensive for a pre-workout, and it is on sale a lot of the time. But normally it's a little over $1 per serving. That's like, you know, more expensive than usual. It also has artificial flavors and sweeteners. I'm not saying it's bad for you at all, but I know some people do try to avoid them. So if you're one of those people, there could be a downside. The fat loss blend is proprietary. They don't tell you how much of each ingredient it contains, which I never like to see in a supplement. And finally, a good amount of the ingredients seem to be a little bit underdosed. Like, it seems like pretty much everything in the fat loss blend is on the lighter side. There's also a little bit lower in like citrulline as well, and a couple of the other ingredients. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the effect. Like, I think the price and the ingredients, I think it's gonna be pretty good for your energy levels, your endurance, your focus, but some of the ingredients, they are on the lighter side, so it's worth mentioning. All right, those are my thoughts on IdealLean's pre-workout for women. Overall, I'm a fan. Like, most of the ingredients are pretty well dosed. I think it's pretty tasty as well. The full written review is in the description below. I think it's fine for men or women. And also, if you want to see if this landed on my full list of the best pre-workouts on the market, just make sure you Google my full roundup with BarBend Best Pre-Workout.